करने से वो कमजोर नहीं होता, अपने आप में ताकत होता है।
Okay.
And let me tell you, Dr. Lubna, no education can get saffronization. History is history. When Shivani asked you, quote me an example that history is changing, you were not able to. आप जैसी एक पढ़ी लिखी महिला भी राष्ट्र चैनल पर बैठकर अफवाहें फैलाती हैं. That is very sad. That is absolutely.
I'll give all our guests a final opportunity to make their closing arguments. But you know, the point is that at one level, we do have to understand that this is India. This is a land which for 6, 7, 8,000 years has borne a certain religion and a faith, which is also a way of life, a certain spirituality, a certain way of looking at the world, and there is a whole host of knowledge associated with it. You can't discard it. And if accepting that knowledge is saffronization, then so be it. That saffronization will happen if it hasn't happened before. So I don't think saffronization should be dropped as some. It is frankly a political tool, but politics should sometimes be kept away from these issues. Yes, Lubna ji, final 30 seconds.
Are you aware of what is shirk?
Yes, I'm aware, ma'am.
The other two speakers, are they aware what is shirk?
Ma'am, make your point quickly, please. Lubna ji, apna point rakhiye jaldi.
I am asking, do you know even what is shirk? And Chantara, that Chantara has nothing to do with Islam. Why did she quote Chantara and what not nonsense? People are so ill-informed about Islam. How can we expect anything? How can we not expect that you will start forcing us to recite all those things? I don't have a problem, but yes, people might have problem. Muslims might have problem with that. You are so ill-informed.
So who has said that you must chant Hindu mantras? ये तो किसी ने भी नहीं बोला. मौलाना कादरी?
जी मैडम.
Okay, I think we're having some issues with Maulana Qadri's video also, but I'll give Ratan Sharda a final opportunity to respond also. Ratan Sharda, there is still a lot of, let's say, there is a bridge that needs to be bridged.
Shivani, as I said, it is matter of Maulvis that they don't want their followers, their flock to mix up with other society because that is their USP. They want to keep their people in ghettoized conditions so they can drive them. As I said, during Abbasid Empire, 7th century to 13th century, Islam was very open. They took knowledge from India, translated it, distributed all over India. There are people like Abdul Kalam, who was a devout Muslim, but also yoga practitioner, Veena practitioner, Gita reader. There was Abdul Salam, who lectures on Gita. There are people, as I said, Indonesia is less Islamic, is Saudi today less Islamic. It is typical Indian issue of Deoband and Barelvi kind of people who are not allowing these people to enjoy the great heritage that we have. Indonesia does allow.
Yeah, so it is everybody's heritage. It is Indian heritage. Yes, it must be accepted and enjoyed by all Indians. This is not about religion alone. If you're from India, you live in India, you're of India, you're an Indian citizen. It is your duty to promote all things that are Indian. It cannot be always from the prison of religion. I do thank all of our guests for joining us, and we're leaving you with the visuals of Eastern Sarus cranes being released in Thailand. This is in a bid to revive the almost extinct species in the kingdom. Thanks a lot for watching.
ঘরের জন্য আমরা গরিব মানুষ সাধারণ মানুষ একটা ঘরের মধ্যে 4 জন লোক থাকি তাহলে আমরা পারবো না বড় লোকরা পারবো আমরা সরে যাব না আমাদের ঘরের কি করতেই লাগবে তারপরে কারণ আমার নতুন করে আমাদের একটাই অনুরোধ ভিডিও হলো আমাদের বাড়ির চা দেখুক যে আমরা পারবো কি পারবো না আদার যাদের নাম আছে তাদেরও দেখুক ঘরে সব আমাদের গ্রামের সব গরিব মহিলাগুলা হচ্ছে ঘরের লিস্টে কোনো নাম নেই আর যেগুলো ছাদের ঘর আছে গাড়ি আছে জায়গা জমি আছে তাদের নামে সব লিস্টে নাম এসছে তার জন্য ওই গরিব মানুষ সব একত্র হয়ে এই ধর্নায় বসেছে
ওই সব ভালো ভালো বড় বড় বাড়িতে যারা বড় বড় বাড়ি থাকে তাদের নাম হয়েছে আর গরিবদের লিস্টে যেগুলো নাম আসছে সেই নামকে ওরা কেটে দিয়েছে কেটে দিয়ে বড় বড় যার দুতলা তালা বাড়ি, তিনতলা বাড়ি, একতলা বাড়ি, পাথর লাগানো বাড়ি তাদের হয়েছে।
Namaste, Jai Hind, and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. But has the government of Bengal, its functionaries, have they taken the right stand in the interest of people who don't have a makan, but for whom there is the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana? Can they hide behind whataboutery, saying what's happening in this state or what's happening in that state? Or should they be accountable for what is happening in the state of Bengal? Because that's what's come to light, ladies and gentlemen. 56 lakh beneficiaries, of which currently 17 lakhs and still counting names have been deleted of those who are backdoor entries. Backdoor entries, that's what's been called about such people. At the outset, let's try and understand who actually should be a beneficiary of the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. The Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana very clearly delineates the conditions or the clauses on which they will be eligibility will be decided. First up, families without a home or have 1 to 2 rooms with a kacha roof. That's the first criterion. Second criterion, any household without a literate adult above the age of 25 years of age. Also, households without an adult male between the age of 16 to 59 years of age. Also, households with disabled members without able-bodied members to help them, support them. Landless households who have only temporary employment. So these are all the eligible beneficiaries for the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. Now, have a look at what is happening on ground. An in-depth deep dive investigation conducted by CNN News 18, Kamalika on ground, Anusuya lending voice to this report, shows the kind of people who have actually been allotted homes or who have made it into this list of beneficiaries. That is possible only because they have given cut money. This cut money syndrome is rampant across welfare schemes in Bengal, ladies and gentlemen, and the latest is the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. Have a look at this.
In East Mednipur, we found several people who made it to the list of beneficiaries of the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. But here's the twist. They currently live in big, lavish houses, but are also in the running for a scheme providing homes to the rural poor.
You can see behind me a palatial house, a very big bungalow. This is located in East Mednipur of Bengal. But this house, the owner of this house, according to the list, has also got an registration in Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. Now that is the big issue before panchayat election for both the sides.
Shubhra Santra's name was there in the list but has now been deleted.
আমার মানে শ্বশুরের 3 ছেলে আমাকে এবারে আলাদা ভাই এখানে বড় ভাই আর মেজো ভাই থাকে আমাকে আলাদা করে দিয়েছে আমাকে এই জায়গাটা দিয়েছে এখন তারা এখানে রান্না করে খায় আমাকেও এই জায়গাটা দিয়েছে এবারে এই জন্য আমি করেছিলাম বাড়ি করব বলে আলাদাভাবে এই জন্য প্রধানমন্ত্রী আবাস যোজনা একটাই করেছিলাম
It was a similar picture at the Das residence.
In Haldia, this is another house behind me, as you can see, the house of Ratan Chandra Das, who's one of the brothers stay here. His name, what we are getting it from the sources here, local people are saying this is the original house. He has another house in somewhere else in East Mednipur, but his name was there in Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana.
আমি ঠিক জানি না তো বলতে পারবো না এবার জিজ্ঞাসা করতে হবে আমার রতন চন্দ্র দাস যে আমার দাদা হয় জিজ্ঞেস করতে হবে
এখন যা ব্যবসার অবস্থা মানে মিষ্টি দোকান কি মানে ওই পয়সাতে খাওয়ার মতো হবে না এখন যা ব্যবসার পরিস্থিতি হ্যাঁ যদি ঘর না থাকে তার থাকার মতো জায়গা করতে হবে
Those who are eligible for the scheme say they are missing out due to politics. Protests broke out in West Mednipur and Kuch Bihar after anger over alleged corruption in the beneficiary list. With panchayat polls coming up, the issue has become the latest flashpoint between the TMC and the BJP.
We are with the people of Bengal. We are with the poorest of the poor in Bengal who deserve to be given funds to build their homes and not to people who owe their allegiance to the TMC. We are also going to challenge the matter in the court.
Thorough inspection is taking place at the panchayat level, and as you know by now, already 17 lakhs names have been deleted. Our government is absolutely dedicated, and that's why thorough investigation is taking place.
We are standing in East Mednipur. Here, the percentage of deletion of names from Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana till now is more than 35%. This is the scene in other districts. On an average, 10 to 15% deletion is common. TMC government is trying to show that they are cleaning up the system. On the other hand, BJP will make this as an issue in panchayat polls. But who will really get the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, that is to be seen, and in overall how much deletion takes place, that is also to be seen. This is Kamalika Sengupta with Anshuman reporting from Haldia for CNN News 18.
So it's a straightforward question, ladies and gentlemen. Is it a massive state scam in what is supposed to be a central scheme? That's the question that we are asking at this point. Let's go across to our guest this evening. Straight away dive into the debate on the Bengal PMAY scam. Priyanka Tibrewal, West Bengal BJP spokesperson with us. Riju Datta, spokesperson of the Trinamool Congress with us. Kabir Shankar Bose, Supreme Court lawyer, is also with us. And Abhijit Majumdar, consulting editor, First Post. Namaste, Jai Hind, and thank you very much for joining us here on this edition of The Right Stand. Season's greetings, compliments of the season, and advance greetings for a new year. But this new year is not happy, Abhijit Majumdar, for a lot of people. Now, look at some of the details that I have here. Pradhan, Upapradhan, influential people, people with cars, their names are all there on the list. People who have died, their names are there on the list. 17 lakh names have been deleted out of 56 lakh so far. And Baduria Chandipur Gram Panchayat list has the name of one person who's dead already. Hriday Kumar Mandal is not, he's no more. His name is still on the list. Family member says that in 2019 he died, but his name was incorporated in 2018. वो list में अभी भी है.
Yes, Anand, the most worrying part is, in a state that is really grappling with massive debt, this, end of this financial, West Bengal's debt may reach about 6 lakh crores. It is supposed to step to reach 6 lakh crores in debt. And the economy, in a place where the economy is just not working, we are seeing scam after scam after scam. I mean, from Sharada Rose Valley to, we have seen how resources and money had been completely, the CAG had raised a red flag about Amphan relief going to the wrong people, whose houses the floodwaters didn't even touch, and there were allegations that TMC had given out relief to its own people. So in a state which is struggling with its economy, we see the central schemes being misused, and the funds siphoned off from there. And also we see that the people on the ground, the poorest of the poor, being cheated, in the SSC scam, which we say, I mean, the vulgarity, the ugliness of it, with crores of cash coming out of TMC leaders' homes and stuff like that. And now this, PM Awas Yojana, where the poorest of the poor will be denied, and Pradhans who are the power band of the TMC. TMC seems to be creating a power overclass by allowing a certain band of people to just get away with anything. This is tragic because when CPM went and Mamata Banerjee came in, there was a lot of hope that she would actually take the state out of the deep hole that CPM the left front had dug. But it seems that it's sliding further, and Awas Yojana, stuff like this, when the poorest of the poor who actually don't have roofs over their heads, they get deprived because, your political lackeys, your political, the people heading the politics in villages, they get the cream, and the rest of people are denied. This is not a healthy sign. One understands that a political party needs money to run the show in the state, both for the state and also for itself. But then TMC should have fixed the economy of the state first, and this, because this is just every 2 months, 3 months we see some sort of a this thing breaking out. I mean,
this cut money corruption syndrome is rampant on ground. Where you want to build toilet, you give cut money. You want to do cremation, you give cut money. You want ration, you give cut money. You want makan, you give cut money. So this is what is rampant, Riju Datta. But this was supposed to be corrupt. This was supposed to be nipped in the bud. That was one of the post-poll promises and action, hard action that was supposed to be taken.
Anand, good evening, and yes, season's greetings to you and Happy New Year in advance to everybody here. But I've been hearing about the state's economy from the other panelists here, and let me tell you that Trinamool Congress run Bengal is the third best performing state in the country. I am not saying it's central government data. We are the third best GDP in the country. I am not saying central government data. And we are the second best state in the repayment of debt in the entire country. Again, I am not saying central government data. So Bengal is doing well. Trinamool Congress is for the people, by the people, and we work for the people, and that is why for the third consecutive term, after the Prime Minister, Home Minister and all the MPs campaigned in Bengal, we came back with a thumping victory. So people still believe us. Now we come to the topic of corruption. Anand, you mentioned some names. Now let me not go into whataboutery and quote some names. Now, first name is Bidhu Bhushan Pramanik. Do you know who he is? His name is one of those names which has been deleted from the Awas Yojana because he is the father of the Deputy Home Minister of India, Mr. Nishit Pramanik. Okay? And I'm quoting names here. Second name is Sushant Sheet. You know who that is? That is the Panchayat Pradhan of Bakura block number 1 of BJP. And I can quote you 15 other names. See, it is not about Trinamool BJP. We are very strict on the list of beneficiaries for the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. It is being done under the surveillance of the Chief Secretary, which is ordered by the Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee. Anybody who will who will try to obstruct this survey or try to create a discrepancy or try to get their people added advantage will be treated with the strictest arm of the law, irrespective of political affiliation. And I'm saying this on record. Anybody found to be in this corruption will face the strictest arm of the law.
But how did they become? You said 15 names of the BJP you can count. Out of 17 lakh, how many Trinamool Congress names are there? Have you been able to count that? And will you come back and will you put out a white paper on that, sir? Because that is also something which you should do conscientiously. The other thing, now we have some more names. Sandeep Bhunia, a veterinary doctor employed with Animal Resources Development, Government of Bengal, while conducting a survey to select beneficiaries for Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, was caught red-handed asking for bribe to enlist names in the list of beneficiaries. Okay, again, miscreants attacked an Anganwadi worker Sampa Bose Majumdar at the Anganwadi Center in Barmajur, Gram Panchayat Sandesh Khali 2 Block North 24 Parganas District for her survey report on Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. The CDPO complains to the BDO and later withdraws due to pressure. Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, another aspect. Barmajur Gram Pradhan Haji Siddiq Molla ordered his henchmen to beat up and molest Anganwadi worker. She had to be admitted to the hospital. Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana scheme. Once again, one more story. Plenty of such plenty of such instances of ordinary people. Now, let's have a look at the numbers. Priyanka Tebrewal, before I come across to this, have a look at these numbers, district by district, ladies and gentlemen. How many percentage of names that have been deleted district by district? Now, what had happened 2018, 56 lakh names were included in this allotment list. The target was 34,88,000 homes. Plus homes by 2026. 17 lakh backdoor entries have been deleted after verification is what they are saying. Look at the numbers where have been there. 44% names have been deleted from North Dinajpur. 42% names have been deleted from South Dinajpur. 42% from Jhargram, 38% from Murshidabad. Oh, it doesn't stop with 4 districts. 4 more districts. Birbhum 38%, North 24 Parganas 34%, East Medinipur 38%, Howrah 32%. 4 more districts. Alipurduar 29%, Jalpaiguri 27%, West Medinipur 29%, Hooghly 27.5%. 12 district हो गया. Now 16 districts, 4 more, 4 more. Malda 27%, Purulia 22%, Siliguri 26%, East Burdwan 22%. Now 4 more, 20 districts we are naming, ladies and gentlemen. Bankura 20%, West Burdwan 18.5%, Nodia 20%, South 24 Parganas 15%. So 20 districts and the average is at least 30%. The high of 44 to 48%, 44% and a low of at least 18%, ladies and gentlemen, across 20 districts of Bengal. That's the percentage of deletion that has happened. Priyanka Tibrewal, of this 17 lakh, 15 names are of BJP. One includes Nishit Pramanik's father's name.
Well, I would say for those 15 names that you need to do exactly what you will do with the 17 lakh people if their names are there in the list. Do the same with them. But my question here is, nor am I astounded or shocked, nor aghast. Because Mr. Riju Datta now today tells you that because they have come in the government 3 times, so they have the right to do this corruption. And we are not shocked at all because corruption runs in the veins of TMC instead of blood. This is what runs. You see, this scheme was launched in the year 2015. Mr. Riju Datta, just before the panchayat elections and 2024 election. Now today, they are trying to show that how diligently the government is working. And there are 17 lakhs names which have been struck off. Now tell me, from 2015 till 2023, what was this government doing? A government which came 3 times. That is what he has mentioned. In this scheme, under this scheme, you know, any individual who owns any kind of property in the country, anywhere, is not supposed to be enlisted in this list or category. Then from where these 17 lakh came? Because as I said, from the very low ground level, that is the TMC Panchayat Pradhans. They are the people who are looked in corruption, and that is the reason we find all this. This scheme is only to provide to more than 200 crore houses to, you know, people who are under the MIG scheme or the lower incomes or the weaker section, economically weaker sections. But here TMC, with all irregularities in the list we see, they have given and allotted the names of those people who have paid money, either money or those who have allegiance to TMC. Only they will be given each and every benefit or of any scheme, whether it is central, whether it is state. So now this is clear that this is what is happening in Bengal.
So it is rampant corruption. Riju Datta wants to respond. Yes, Riju Datta, and then I'll go across to Kabir Shankar Bose. Yeah.
Thank you, Anand. Thank you. See, you have counted the percentages, and I am saying this on your channel on record. If needs be, you said the average is 30 to 44%, right? If needs be, we will get the deletion percentage up to 60%. But we will make sure there is not one instance of corruption, and we will make sure that the right person gets the benefit of this Yojana. Why there was a delay? I did not come in.
Mr. Anand.
Anand,
Priyanka ji, let him complete. Give him 30 seconds to. Priyanka ji, give him 30 seconds to complete and then rebut, please. आप दोनों करिए argue, but hear the other person out. Give them 30 seconds to complete. Yes, Riju Datta. Yeah.
Thank you, Anand. Yes. So, like I said, we will take the percentage up to 60%, but we'll make sure there is no corruption and people get their right due. Number 1. Number 2, in Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, why there was a delay? Because central funds have been blocked. The central government acts like a stepfather for Bengal. Our 100 days Manrega funds
30 seconds over. So no, but Riju Datta, see, मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ. Here is where. 1 minute, Priyanka ji. 1 sec. I'm just saying that the center stopped the funds on December 2021, citing irregularities. And now also in November 2022, when they released 13,000 crore or approved 13,000 crore for completion of this, they said subject to completion of 14 conditions that this money will be released. Because there was aji-baji. Manrega, Bengal may have been awarded by the center, but it is Bengal and it is the same center which is also flagged off that 4 lakh job cards are farji in Manrega. This was alleged and put out by Mr. Suhendu Adhikari just last week. But Priyanka Tibrewal wanted to respond. Priyanka Tibrewal respond. I'll come back.
That is what I'm saying. They are not doodh ka dhula. When the center stopped giving funds, that is why all this correction process is going on. And they have not pointed out. This is the center who has pointed out that there are irregularities. Now, why only today? They have so many schemes. Didi ke bolo, chalo gram mein jai. So now when there is panchayat election, now they are trying to show that, see, they have said by themselves, those who were corrupted are going to the jail. Who are they? They were your TMC ministers. Who are the others who are going in queue? They are also your TMC ministers. So what is right and what is wrong? Entire TMC is corrupted. You can't show that Mamata Banerjee has a clean face. It is the entire party which looks in corruption.
Right. Okay. The two spokespersons, please yield. Kabir Bose has not yet spoken. We are 18 minutes into the debate. Yes, Kabir Bose. Thank you for your patience. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. Anand, thanks. Anand, while you were giving your narration, you mentioned something. The TMC's post-poll promise was that, the poor will get their rights. But what we saw after post-poll, and every citizen of West Bengal saw, was murders, rapes, and a 5-judge bench of the High Court came down heavily, scathingly on the state government and ordered a CBI investigation. That is what remains of post-poll promises. Now, Anand, sometimes I feel the C in the TMC lies for cut money and corruption. We have seen this corruption during the time of Amphan when the natural calamity came. The funds released by the centre also reached TMC officials, it reached their bank balances, it reached their bank accounts. In Chanditala Vidhan Sabha, I clearly remember there was one incident which falls under Trinamool Lok Sabha that the funds had reached the bank account of the wife of the panchayat pradhan. This is the level of corruption. Now we have seen this massive SSC scam which is now being investigated on High Court orders by a central agency, where we are seeing that ineligible candidates have got jobs. I mean, we are seeing this level of corruption, cut money and scams at every sphere of life in West Bengal. And now we have this situation, a scheme where the deserving are entitled to homes, accommodation. It's a benevolent scheme for the poor, and where we've seen that people who are not eligible, people who live in large houses, people who are related to the TMC, and like Priyanka said, I completely support her. It is because the centre has released funds with riders. All this deletion exercise is being undertaken. Otherwise, this would all be a whitewash.
But
and
on
all
ground,
the benefits,
please,
all the money
there are
would
viewers
just
who
go
are
to TMC
alleging.
People.
There are viewers who are making the allegation that on ground this is being pushed as a state-driven scheme. It is being told on ground that the state is actually making these houses. It's not being touted as a Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana or a center-driven scheme. Is that true or false, Kabir Bose? Because you have to tell me whether this is happening on ground between you and Abhijit Majumdar. You got to back what one of the viewers has just put out, saying that this is what is happening on ground. Kabir Bose.
You mean the state is claiming that this project is actually theirs?
Yes.
The state is claiming this project is there. The chief secretary is monitoring the entire collection of names, and the state is claiming is theirs. And whereas actually the funds are coming from under the PM scheme. Isn't this just hoodwinking the people?
No. This is the allegation which has been made. This is an allegation which is being made. So I am asking you, Kabir Bose, and also Abhijit Majumdar to corroborate whether central schemes are being pawned or being touted on ground as if it is the Trinamool and Mamta Didi who is making the homes for these people. Is that true or false, Abhijit Majumdar?
Oh, we see this all the time. We see this all the time. Complete hijacking of central schemes. And only when there's an audit, they come around and they do these revisions. But there is complete hijacking. When there is a benevolent scheme, they would hijack it and they would claim it is theirs. I'll let my co-guest respond, Abhijit, on that.
Yes, Abhijit.
Yeah, no, Kabir. I think Kabir would be in a better position to talk on this because I don't live in. I don't live in Bengal, but this has been out in the news for a long time. That this has been the.
Well, this has been the practice here in West Bengal, Anand.
Can I come in?
Riju Datta, I'll give you your time to rebut.
Absolutely, this is a fact. There's hijacking of the Prime Minister's schemes.
Have been changed.
Names of schemes have been changed.
This has been a point of huge showdown.
One second, Riju Datta. Let them all speak, and then I'll give you your time to rebut. I assure you that. Yes, Abhijit Majumdar. The other aspect, this cut money syndrome, is it at the higher levels of the Bengal administration or is it at the lower level? Because largely most of the reports that I've read, the accounts that have come, they've all come at the gram level, the panchayat level, local Trinamool Congress leaders hoodwinking, local Bahubalis muscling people and saying this is the money that you have to give me if you want this. And the numbers are fixed. If it is toilet, it is 2,000 rupees. If it is cremation, it is 1,200 rupees. If it is house, 2.5 lakh rupees ka 10%, 20,000 rupees. Is this what has happened?
No. All rivers, streams, rivulets flow into the sea, Anand. I mean, come on. Abhishek Banerjee is under investigation. Partho Chatterjee, you have seen, and there are other ministers. Madan Mitra spent a bit of
Priyanka ji,
time
coming
in
to you.
jail.
Can I speak now?
One second, Rijudat, please. I'll come to you. I'll allow. If everybody speaks over everybody, it's not going to happen. Rijudatta, I will give you your time to rebut. I assure you that. We will not wind up the debate before that. Priyanka ji, please wait. Yes, let Abhijit complete, then play, you make, and then Rijudatta. One after the other.
How can this level of corruption happen without this thing without some kind of a buy-in? And it is not now. It's not in the level of innuendo. It is crores are coming out of empty flats, man, of TMC ministers. अब इससे ज़्यादा क्या higher level हो सकता है बताइए आप?
Yes. Okay. Let Rijudatta respond and then Priyanka ji. Yes, Rijudatta.
Now give me the courtesy of time after 15 minutes of TMC bashing is over. Then give me the courtesy of time.
You'll get uninterrupted 2 minutes. I have only 3 minutes on the show, so 2 minutes I'll give you.
Thank you. You said 4 lakh job cards, and I'm giving you statistics to all your panels. You know how many job cards have been deleted? Fake job cards have been recovered in Uttar Pradesh, 80 lakhs. Madhya Pradesh, 79 lakhs. Karnataka, 59 lakhs. Gujarat, shut up, please.
Wait. Let him say. Let him speak.
Gujarat, 35 lakhs. Okay, so these are BJP-run states. You said, Priyanka Tibrewal said that TMC is a party of chores. The biggest chore who's mentioned in the ED CBI charge sheet who has been seen taking money on TV is Priyanka Tibrewal's boss now, Suvendu Adhikari. Now, last, all these people who are giving dialogues here on this TV, I want to ask them.
Priyanka ji, let him speak. Please don't heckle him. Please don't. Let him speak and then you please.
Okay, I will not let us speak.
No.
Now, my last
stepping
point
in.
is,
I'm
when
stepping
you
in.
people are talking about who come to your panel without doing their homework, without being prepared, with big names under their name, do they know in Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, 50% contribution is by the state government? 50% of
Listen, I am telling you that
Pradhan Mantri ka pocket money. It is not Narendra Modi's pocket
the
money.
state government, the West Bengal government had instructed the district authorities to reprint all the signboards because the name of the central scheme
Correct. One second. If it is not the Pradhan Mantri's pocket money, it is also not Mamata Banerjee's pocket money. All this money, one minute. All this money comes from the taxpayer. No, sir, it is not the name of one particular individual. The scheme is something which is started by the center. So it is a Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, irrespective of who is the Pradhan Mantri. Tomorrow, if a Mamata Banerjee or somebody else becomes Pradhan Mantri, it will still be Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana because the Awas Yojana is started by the center. Sir, the money, if it is coming, no, 1 minute. The center's contribution to the state is for a scheme which is a central scheme. The state also contributes. It's nobody's share. Nobody needs to appropriate. But the fact is the right people should get the homes. Priyanka Tibrewal respond. 1 minute. Now let Priyanka Tibrewal respond. Let Priyanka Tibrewal respond.
He just said he doesn't know anything. Now there's no point having because all the chores are going to jail and that is what is burning them. 26th of November, this year, 26th of November, the state government, Mamata Banerjee government, she instructed the district authorities that please reprint all the signboards.
Now, Rijudatta, you've heckled her as much as she heckled you. Please yield.
1,200 crore.
Please yield. She yielded, you also please yield. She yielded, you also please yield. I allowed you to heckle her to an extent, but please now don't. I request you. Let her complete.
And Mr. Datta supports these thieves and robbers. That is why he is yelling. This is what happens when you are in a party of chiefs. When you are in a party of chores and robbers, this is what happens and you just
1 minute. The simple point. No, I'll tell you what.
All chores are in the jail.
Yeah.
Go and try to butter him up.
Who is a now Priyanka Tibrewal and Riju Datta? Who's a party of chores? Who's a party of thieves? These are all allegations you as political voices are making on a platform. But the larger question is who made the promise of zero corruption and for allowing welfare to reach to the lowest corners? You can go about whataboutery, what is happening in other states. If there is corruption in other states, if these lists are being deleted, there is also a certain level of deletion. Credit goes to the Trinamool as much as credit goes to any other political party in any other state that these furgy names have been deleted. But the larger question in Bengal is that cut money as a syndrome, corruption at the grassroots level, this cut-off has been there since 2015, 2016. Various issues, various times this has come to the fore. Intimidating the lowest common denominator into silence and denying them their rights is something which is wrong, sir, which is wrong. Kabir Bose, final word, 30 seconds, Kabir Bose.
Anand, very high Trinamool functionaries, including cabinet ministers, are now incarcerated. Definitely cut money syndrome, definitely corruption, and that is why the law is catching up with them. It's absolutely clear. Riju, please don't interrupt and please don't scream. This is a national TV. Your screaming will not, erase the corruption that your party is facing. The fact is, your ministers are incarcerated and the law of the land will catch up with every single corrupt person that is there in Bengal. This is a promise which even the central government has made, and they will see through this. You can scream as much as you want, Riju, but the fact is corruption lies, corruption is there, and the C in the TMC stands for cut money and corruption.
How dare you say that? How dare you say that?
No, my point is, are you sitting here on national television and brazenly trying to intimidate another person who's speaking? Another person. I was not the one speaking right now. It was Kabir Bose who was speaking. It was Kabir Bose who was speaking, sir. No, sir, there is no need to apologize. Since 2018, these reports have come. We have continuously done these stories. Continuous stories have come. It is because these stories came into the media that the promise was made by the Trinamool Congress and by Ms. Mamata Banerjee that cut money will be cut. There will be no cut money taken and grassroots level corruption will be nipped in the bud. This is the promise she made after she got that whopping mandate from the people of Bengal. Today, the people of Bengal are turning around and saying that houses that should be made for us, we should be the beneficiaries. Why is somebody else the beneficiary and why are our names not there in the list? It's the people of Bengal who are asking the government, and the government is answerable to the very same people. You can get into whataboutery, you can get into intimidation, you can get into name calling, but the reality is the people of Bengal are asking questions which you need to provide answers to. You can't just resort to name calling and intimidation just because the questions become inconvenient. We've got to wind up the debate. I thank all our panelists. We're going to take a very, very short break. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, it's a shocking video. It's a shocking video that is coming in from Pakistan, where the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, the Talibanis, are within striking distance of the Pak Parliament. Is Islamabad on high alert, and should this region now be in high alert because Pakistan clearly in a state of flux? The details, the shocking videos when we come back.
The former Chief of Defence Staff, the late General Bipin Rawat, had this vision for Indian rocket force, and it's known that Pralay will form the crux of that dream. Can you walk our audiences through what General Bipin Rawat's vision was with the rocket force and how Pralay forms a part of that?
You see, the point, what was General Rawat's vision was, he was aware about the capability of the Chinese. The Chinese have a very good rocket force as well as a missile force. So before the war takes place, you'll find it that the Chinese will be using this force, both missile and rocket force, to create a maximum destruction in opponent country. Now, to counter that and also to make sure that you punish Chinese, if they venture like this, you need a rocket force. There's no doubt. The rocket force is more required against Chinese rather than Pakistan. But against Chinese, that was the plan, that you must have the best of the missile, best of the rocket force. And we are building up combat. If you see Russian-Ukraine war also, the impact which Russia is now making on Ukraine is basically its rocket and missile force, which is going and hurting the energy infrastructure of Ukraine because they were not very successful on a ground operation. In fact, they are on a back foot as far as the East Ukraine is concerned. But what is the game changer as far as Russia is concerned? The missile and the rocket force which they are there, and they are able to destroy the complete energy sector of Ukraine as well as their military infrastructure. So that's why the rocket force is there to stay, and it is a vision for future. And the Russia-Ukraine war has already given us this indication that you must have the best of the missile and rockets, because the war will be fought with this before you join the ground forces. So I suppose we are unfolding it, and in time to come, you'll find India will be capable in a manner that we have one of the best missile and rocket force.
Amid the ongoing disturbance with China across the LAC, India is going to deploy Pralay ballistic missiles at the China border. The Defence Ministry has cleared the procurement of 120 such tactical ballistic missiles for the armed forces. Now, this particular missile has a range of 150 to 500 kilometers. The missile can defeat interceptors and it can change its path midway. Both China and Pakistan already have these tactical ballistical missiles. These are the details we have with us so far. Now, I do want to share with you more about what is in the plans. The missiles have been developed by the Defence Research and Development Organization. They've been further developed and their range can be extended significantly if the forces want it to be so. This is a missile system that actually started development back in 2015, and it was given a capability, the capability was given a push by the late General Bipin Rawat when he was the Chief of the Army Staff. Now, my colleague Akash is with us. Akash, the missiles have successfully tested twice last year, December 21st and December 22nd. Can you tell us more about this? I know it's a quasi-ballistic surface-to-surface missile. What does that mean, and what could its impact be in the India-China LAC front?
Right. So, Toya, first of all, both China and Pakistan have this sort of ballistic missiles, and this is very important in terms that when we have borders with both these countries, so now we are going to deploy these missiles at our borders as well fast. Secondly, talking about the particular project, so as you rightly mentioned, this particular missile system, in fact, the project was started in 2015. And after the successful trials and the tests that you have just mentioned, finally, Defence Ministry has given a green signal for the procurement, and we have been given to understand that initially we are, procuring 120 ballistic missiles for armed forces, specifically for the borders. And, Toya, it is important to mention because we know the kind of conditions that we have with China as of now, also the disturbance that we have faced in the, in this particular month, and also the disturbances that we have seen in past 2 years. So it is very important. Also, talking about this missile system, so this particular missile can take out targets from 150 to 500 kilometers.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we turn the spotlight towards Pakistan, where trouble is brewing because after the UK, US, Saudi Arabia and some other nations issuing advisories asking their citizens, nationals not to step out, and especially Saudi Arabia and the others saying always carry your passport and beware because there is a high alert in this region of Islamabad and further. There is a shocking video that's now come to light. And CNN News 18, courtesy our investigations editor Manoj Gupta, has accessed this video, and this is an exclusive that we are putting out. And what this shows is that the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan have their sights with the Pak Parliament. Have a look at this video. This video shows we are coming. Just let's play out the full video if we can. And we have, this is what is a Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan TTP member shooting this video with the Pakistan Parliament in sight. They've just zoomed out of that. They've just zoomed out of that, and it is going to a particular note that's handed to him, which says in Urdu and in English, "We are coming." That's the Pak Parliament in Islamabad. That's what he's pointing to, this Tehreek-e-Taliban cadre. And the next shot, they're showing, "We are coming." That is what is put out in this video, ladies and gentlemen. A shocking video that's come to light, which clearly shows that the TTP are only upping the intensity of their attack. Now, this is another headache for Pakistan, and this is what the TTP has also come out and claimed. They have countered all that the Pakistan army has turned around and said. They have said that the Pak army's Banu operation was a failed operation. They also say General Asim Munir is America's puppet, the new army chief. They will continue to fight against the Pakistani security forces. The Pak army is spreading fake information about win or triumph in Waziristan. They have also claimed, and this is interesting, that the Baloch Liberation Army, or the BLA, has pledged allegiance to the TTP in the Makran region. And they will continue jihad and also work to implementing Sharia in Pakistan. So this is the Taliban agenda, which is now coming to light. Now, even as the TTP has claimed that the BLA or the Baloch are coming out and giving them support in the Makran region, there is trouble which is happening in Balochistan with the Haq Do movement intensifying. They are actually fighting. The protests are surging again in Gwadar in Balochistan. 20 protesters were actually detained. You can see these visuals. Lots and lots of people are turning out and protesting against the Pakistani army and the establishment. We'll just go full screen. We'll try and go full screen with these visuals and play up the NAT if you can. This is all in Gwadar in Pakistan, ladies and gentlemen.
मां हिंदुस्तान वाले मरते में दाना मां इंडिया मरते मां हिंदू है दाना मां मुसलमान है जबरदस्ती हालत खराब कर गए जबरदस्ती हालत खराब कर गए मौला ने कारकुन ने एग्जैक्ट भी मौला कारकुन एग्जैक्ट भी बिल्कुल
saying they are heckling the personnel, they are firing in the air, and there are huge Haq Do protests that are happening. So what are these Haq Do protests? Let's try and understand that. These Haq Do movement is actually intensifying. The protests are surging in Gwadar, in Balochistan. Let's try and put out the details. Yes, so the protests are surging again in Gwadar in Balochistan. 20 protesters were detained by the Frontier Corps and the police trying to attempt to arrest Tehreek chief Maulana Hidayatur also failed. The protesters attacked the Frontier Corps and police personnel in Gwadar. Coastal highway was completely blocked by the protesters. Police continued to shell and shoot the protesters, and internet and electricity has been completely shut. And the protesters are demanding a ban on illegal fishing. So one issue after the other is being used, where once again you can even see, let's have a look at these videos where the FC Frontier Corps personnel are being brazenly heckled. Now these are the visuals. A state of flux in Pakistan. And is it hurtling fast towards balkanization? Are we going to see huge amount of internal strife and a civil war? Let's try and go across to our guest this evening. And what does it mean for us in this region? Lieutenant General KJS Dhillon, former GOC 15 Corps with us, Professor Brahma Chalani, Strategic Affairs expert with us, and Bilal Baloch journalist also with us. Namaste. Thank you very, very much everybody for joining us here on the right stand. General KJS Dhillon, What would you make of what is happening over in Pakistan? For a TTP cadre with his foot up on the parapet and then zoom in and zoom out and saying, we are coming. This is happening in Islamabad. We are also seeing use of fishing rights and the Baloch civic unrest. There is huge civic unrest in Sindh. The BLA saying we'll work with the TTP. There seems to be armed movement against the Pakistani forces. Your reading of what's happening there?
See, reading is very clear and it's on the wall, and it was on the wall for so many decades. If you remember what was famously said, if you have snakes in your backyard, and you don't expect only them to bite the enemy per se. So that is what is coming true. Call it Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, call it Taliban Pakistan, call it Afghanistan Taliban, call it only Taliban, call it ISKP, call it by any name. The mother organization is ISI and the Pakistan Army. And they are the one who have been nurturing this terrorist over the decades for their own goals, either in Afghanistan or in Kashmir, at times even in Iran, and then to suppress the Baloch freedom movement within their own country. So all this is now coming out, and it is coming out nice and proper for the army. Coupled with this, the economic state which Pakistan is in, the political instability which is going on in Pakistan, the diplomatic failures on all fronts of theirs, and Pakistan military getting a bloody nose in the internal strife, may it be in KPK, may it be in Balochistan. Recently we saw there 6 casualties happening, including an officer. And imagine a few days ago, a terrorist had been brought into an anti-terrorist station for interrogation, and they overpower, and they kidnap the interrogators. So this is all what's happening. You talked about Makran region and the Makran coast. Makran coast, Gwadar and all are very sensitive areas for Pakistan's security. Things are not going on well for the Pakistan security, for Pakistan's stability, and that's a very, very worrying factor. TTP is coming out very, very strong, and coupled with this, what's happening on the Afghan border, where Pakistan Army and the Afghan Taliban soldiers are having skirmishes on daily basis. Things are not well, and I'll come back after my other co-panelists have spoken.
Yeah, things are not well, but your reading is this now going to move into a full-blown armed struggle against the Pakistani establishment, Professor Brahma Chelani, and what does that mean for India and this region?
Well, first, as General Dhillon pointed out, Pakistan has long drawn specious distinctions between good and bad terrorists and between good Taliban and bad Taliban. But just as there are no good terrorists, there are no moderate Taliban. The Pakistani Taliban, or PTP, is the Pakistan military's nemesis, while the Pakistani military, including the ISI agency, remain in bed with the Afghan Taliban. And Pakistan is still playing this, the good terrorist versus the bad terrorist game. So it's reaping what it has sowed. It is facing rising attacks by the TTP. Pakistan is now urging the Afghan Taliban regime to crack down on the TTP's cross-border sanctuaries and activities. But the Afghan Taliban are wary of cracking down on the TTP, fearful of creating more enemies at a time, when they already face growing resistance to their rule from Afghan nationalists, including in the Panjshir Valley. So things are getting really hot now for the Pakistani military, especially in the tribal areas. And Balochistan is an added concern, given the fact that there is a long-standing resistance to Pakistani rule in Balochistan, which is the largest province of Pakistan. But the native Baloch have never been content with the situation there, and they have, in fact, there is growing discontent, and this has ominous implications for China's investments in Balochistan, in Gwadar, and in fact, China is eyeing building a naval base next to Gwadar. So this has long-term strategic implications, both for Pakistan and for China. And I think that India needs to do what it can to keep Pakistan bottled up in domestic mess. Because if Pakistan is stable and thriving, it's going to create more trouble for India. If you look back to the 1980s when Indira Gandhi was in office, in the first half of the 1980s, she did a good job keeping Pakistan bottled up in its internal affairs. And I think we need to take a page from that experience and ensure that that Pakistan remains preoccupied with its internal troubles.
One wonders if it is also not just Pakistan but also China, because like you said, China has sunk its teeth deep into Pakistan in terms of its investments, and this strife does not bode well for the Chinese, who are also bleeding. They're also going through huge amount of financial strife, internal distress, COVID resurgence, so there's a lot of pressure on the pockets, very deep pockets of the Chinese, but even there seems to be a problem. Let's just quickly put the timeline in place. November 22nd, around that time is when talks fell through and the TTP blamed the Pakistani army of going back on their words. Before I bring in Bilal Baloch, quickly taking you through this timeline, ladies and gentlemen. Suicide bombing attack in Balochistan happens, 3 dead, 22 are injured. This is on the 30th of November. 2nd December, the Pakistan head of mission to Kabul escapes an assassination bid. That happens. 3rd December, a police van is attacked in Naushera where 3 policemen are killed. 6th of December, police vehicle is attacked in Dikhan district and 2 policemen are injured. 10th of December, a hand blast at a shop in Balochistan, 1 killed and 7 injured. 10th of December, Afghan border forces open fire on civilians in Chaman, 6 people are killed. Then again, there is another hand blast, and 14th of December there is a suicide bombing attack on Pakistan Army, 3 killed and 12 injured. 18th of December, 4 cops are killed in an overnight attack in Lucky Marwat. 19th of December, suicide bomb attack in Waziristan, IB inspector and 2 civilians are killed. 20th of December, Levy's personal shot, dead in Kharan. Then you also have 23rd, where the head constable of Islamabad police dies after a blast. And 24th of December, 4 army personnel died after a convoy was attacked and it left a soldier killed in the border town of Chaman. 5 security personnel also killed in Chaman. And then, of course, 25th of December, 6 security personnel killed in Kahan, 17 people injured. Bilal Baloch, there is an increasing step-by-step escalation of the attack and the intensity of what is happening. And how would you read this coming together of the TTP and the BLA?
Thank you, Anand, for giving me opportunity. First of all, I would like to clear one thing very clearly through this platform of your media. There is no any truth. These are all biased and the fake propaganda of the Pakistan army that BLA or any other Baloch separatist movement with the Taliban. This is a totally ridiculous claim by a Pakistani occupied media. You can say Pakistani media, GHQ media in Pakistan. First of all, you have to see where they are claiming. They are claiming the division of Quran.
Yes.
If they can claim the division of Quetta and some other division, there are some Pashtun are living, I can believe myself as a journalist, not as a Baloch. But you have to see Makran. Makran division, there are the 3 districts. Panjgur, Kach, and Guhadar. It's impossible there. Baloch separatist groups, Baloch freedom fighter, they are not fighting for Jannat or paradise or something else. They are fighting for their motherland. And if you compare with the Musters, Taliban and the TTP, they have a totally different ideology. They are fighting for the extremism, the religious belief. So you have to understand these people are the people from the Pakistan army, like the other professor said. I will tell you one thing, you have to understand why this is happening. In fact, there are the 2 groups in Pakistan army. Do you see when this new chief of army staff, this is also after the Quran, Asim Munir came in the power, things become very changed. You can see this.
Yes.
And the guy who was supporting these all Mustari retired. He was the chief of I mean the DGISI
Yes.
and the corps commander on that area. So all shit and all monsters coming from the north side. And these are the same guys. They have been proxies of the Pakistan army. They can use them against your country in India, in Kashmir, in Afghanistan against United States and other allies. So you have to understand this is totally ridiculous claim of the Pakistani media and the Pakistani journalists, whatever is saying.
So you're saying that the
about
TTP and the BLA cannot come together, especially in this
No,
Makran
it's
region?
impossible.
And this is
I'm telling you,
factionalism
I
within the Pakistani army itself, which is now being
Exactly.
which
There
is
are the
manifest.
two groups. They just wanted to diverse the scenario and the thinking of the people of the Pakistan and the other side of the Pakistan. I mean the European and the Western
But
countries.
the other aspect which stands out, Bilal Baloch, you may have a point, and I'm going to ask General Dhillon, do you agree, disagree with what Bilal Baloch's observation is, that this is actually factionalism within the Pakistan establishment itself? The other thing is that the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan have never lost the support of the Taliban itself. And that entire Waziristan area, Pashtuns have a particular sentiment, and they believe that the Pakistani army has been brutal there, and they have committed acts of genocide, just like the Baloch believe that what the Pakistani army has done in Balochistan. How would you read this? Should we look at it in isolation? Is this a Pakistan internal army establishment strife, or is there more, that the TTP is now equipped with kind of modern weapons which the Americans left behind?
We have to see the whole thing in totality. I agree with Mr. Baloch to an extent, whereas the Baloch freedom fight is a very sort of a dignified and a principled fight for the freedom of the motherland. What Taliban or any type of Taliban is indulging is in terms of the way we can call it jihad, and like he said, the Hurs and Jannat and other things. Yeah, there is ideological difference, and there is a difference, perceptible difference. Now, what he is trying to say is that Pak establishment trying to demean or degrade the values which Baloch Liberation Army is fighting on, is trying to say that TTP is joining hands with Taliban. But I would also like to say here, changing of alignments, shifting of cadres, getting out of one particular group and forming another group or aligning with another group is a very done thing in Pakistan. Like some disgruntled jihadis of TTP went and made ISKP. So this alignments and realignments is a very, very done thing. And yes, that point I take. Makran Coast, Gwadar area and all the districts in the south, yes, there the presence of Pashtuns per se is not as pronounced as in the areas towards the north of Balochistan. So that point I take, but realignment within the terrorist is a very done thing. And coming down to your question, the TTP now increasing the weapon systems, modern weapon systems which were left behind by the US in Afghanistan, getting into their fold, and Pakistan establishment, that is primarily ISI, and Pakistan army not able to control them. If you recollect when General Musharraf was in China, and one of his intercepts with the DGISI or the talk with DGISI was intercepted by our intelligence agencies, in which he had made a statement which went something like this, कि जिहादियों की टूटी तो हमारे हाथ में हम कभी भी मरोड़ सकते हैं. That means we can close the tap on the jihadi movements anytime we want. Now gone are those days. उस टाइम पे जो भी टेररिस्ट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन थी उनकी टूटी ISI और पाकिस्तान आर्मी के हाथ में थी, एग्रीड. लेकिन आज they are free flowing tube wells which have got no control by ISI or the Pakistan army when it comes to controlling them per se. ये इनके अपने ही बनाए हुए लोग हैं, ये इनके अपने ही बनाई हुई organizations हैं which are now turned against them. And coupled with this, I will come back to that point again. The economic failure, the diplomatic failure, the political instability. Mr. Imran Khan, the backyard being KPK, the problem happening there, the new army chief coming in, making tall claims which are contested by the TTP, Mr. General Bajwa still having some hold in the establishment. All these are very, very hot mix. We need to understand the Pakistan internal turmoil with a different lens. It's not an easy country to understand.
Not just that, we don't even know whether the establishment itself understands
so
the turmoil, internal
I
turmoil
go with the point.
So that's where it is. But is this entity fast hurtling towards balkanization? That remains another larger question, given the way things are flowing in that part of the world. I have run out of time, so I thank all our panelists. Thank you very much for your insights. Clearly a state of flux over in Pakistan. We wind up this edition of The Right Stand. Stay with us. Brass Tacks follows.
Good evening, everyone. You're watching Brass Tacks. I'm Shivani Gupta. Congress leader Salman Khurshid has drawn an analogy between Lord Ram and Rahul Gandhi, and that's created another political furore, with the BJP accusing the Congress of hurting Hindu sentiments. While the Congress likens Rahul to a yogi, BJP reminds Congress of its anti-Hindu stance on issues in the past. Another flashpoint related to the Bharat Jodo Yatra. So has Congress crossed a line, or is the BJP rattled with the Yatra? We debate that in just a bit. First, the story.